All right, welcome everybody. Let's begin on our back, either with those knees bent or legs extended long. As you settle onto your mat this morning, just take a nice deep breath in, letting that breath act as like a reset button. And then as you breathe out through the mouth, just see how slowly you can let that breath go. And then closing the eyes if you haven't already done so, as you begin to look inside of yourself, uniting your mind, your awareness with whatever's happening on the physical level this morning. So breath by breath, just find your way into the body, noticing where you're feeling the majority of sensation, whether it's tightness, fatigue, discomfort, pain, and acknowledging those parts that you will need to be patient with, have compassion for, as you release whatever it is you're needing to release in terms of stress, tension, tightness. And then once you've noticed that in the body, check in with the mind. Where is there stress, tension, or tightness in the mind? And what might need to be unraveled from the mind stuff in order to feel more peaceful or present. And then dropping into your heart space, tuning into your breath on a deeper level. And as you get a sense of how you're feeling or what you're feeling this morning, just identifying an emotional tone or energetic awareness. And remember, yoga is really a uniting of consciousness in the heart. And the heart is really the mediary between the mind and the body. And so as you tune into your heart space, checking in as you offer up your single point of focus, your heartfelt intention this morning. And so sometimes that intention might be dedicated on someone else's behalf. Other times it might be a solution or an answer to a problem, ideal outcome to a challenge. And as we start out this morning, just being aware collectively of the energies in the world. And so yoga reminds us that we are all connected at the deepest level of our awareness. And we know this, for example, the fires that are raging in Maui right now, and all the people that have lost so much. We feel that, even though we're not in Hawaii, right? We might not even know anybody in Hawaii. I have a dear friend there right now traveling, so I hope for her return, her safety. But that just goes to show that on a human level, we can feel quite deeply and empathically. And we don't want that to weigh us down or make us sick. But I was inspired this morning. I know we're going to work on second chakra, but it really came through strongly that I would like to dedicate this practice and offer up the Hawaiian Prayer of Reconciliation, which many of you are familiar with. And so I'll just offer this and bring it through the class a few times as we move through today. And it's 4 statements. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And this is an ancient shamanic Hawaiian practice, which really reconciles any part that we have in catastrophe, in trauma, in whatever's happening in the world. We're all connected to it. So on some level, we are participating energetically. And so we can clear that sort of karmic residue and clear our consciousness with this powerful prayer of reconciliation on behalf of self, others, or the whole. So just take a moment to hold a space in your heart for the island of Maui right now. And then just sending a big, bright, white light from your heart to the island. Fear and worry are counterproductive. And so may we send hope. May we send repair, recovery, love, understanding. And I know that South Florida residents can really resonate with this. It was almost a year ago that we were hit with the natural disaster of the hurricane. And then let us be humbled by the power of the earth and the power of the elements. So as we work on our second chakra practice today, it is really about trusting the process, going with the flow, even when we don't understand and can't wrap our heads or our hearts around tragedy and chaos. And it's part of the practice. And so let's come back to your body now, taking a deep breath in and a long breath out. Part of second chakra is also being very honest with ourselves about our emotions and what we're feeling and how to process those things in a healthy way. without suppressing, denying. And so coming back to your intention now to prepare to move the body mindfully. But we can also look at, in the face of tragedy, natural disasters, it can bring us back into a humble place within our own lives. And then we can look to say, wow, I have nothing to complain about. I have a house. I have my people. There's clear, fresh air to breathe. Right? We make such a big deal out of so many small things until the big things strike. And I think they do because they're meant to remind us to let go of all that nonsense and to stay present with what's most important. So with that, let's begin to move. Deep breath in. Exhale out. And then stretch the legs out long if you haven't already. And we'll start to move mindfully. We're going to go with the flow, trusting the process. And so thinking of the element of water as we move through the practice today and the power that the element of water has. And we also have that power. So if we trust that process, go with the flow, ride the wave of life, it might be a little easier than trying to resist it. So on your next in-breath, reach those arms overhead, spread your fingers, point through the toes. Exhale, mindfully draw right knee into the chest. And we're just going to stay in motion here, side to side, breath to breath, before we pause. So take it at your own pace, your own rhythm here. Going with that in-breath and out-breath as we hug the knee in. And we'll take that one more each side. So really just getting a sense and a feel of the flow of your breath as we align the movement from the breath, rather than trying to move first and squeeze that breath in. Let that breath be the fuel for the movement. Let's take it one more each side. We started with the right side. So next time we bring that right side in, we'll pause. So as most of you know, you're very familiar with the chakra system over the years. Next time that right knee hugs in, let's pause. And just let that right thigh hug in as you stretch the lower back, the glutes, point and flex your right foot. So the main site in the body for second chakra is the hips, the lower back, the lower abdomen. It's also regulating all the fluids in the body, because that element is water. And so again, water can take on many forms. Circle that ankle one direction. And sometimes we might feel stuck. We might feel overly comfortable, attached, and not want to grow or move or change. And that water becomes like ice, frozen. Take it around the other direction if you're circling. And so the idea is to start trusting, right? That movement forward, getting comfortable with change, seeing that as growth, and letting go of the things that we might have outgrown or have long since expired and we're attached to. So let that right foot relax and then rock your whole right thigh now, side to side. Digging out that rust in those hips, breathing into this. So physically, our hips literally help us move forward. Our hip flexors, that's how we walk. That's how we take steps. Well, one of the main muscle groups doing that work. And so again, we can ask ourselves in our own lives, where are we stuck? Where are we complacent, overly attached, overly comfortable? And that'll start to challenge any imbalances of the second chakra. Now, next time that right thigh hugs in, slowly release it. And we'll take all that to the other side. Inhale, reach the arms. Exhale, left knee hugs in. And then pause here for a moment, feeling that belly moving toward the thigh and away from it, breath by breath, and start to point and flex that left foot. So a big part of keeping the second chakra healthy and balanced physically, mentally, and emotionally, as well as energetically, is to really start to trust more than fear. Circle the ankle one direction. So you trust the endings, you trust the beginnings, you trust whatever comes as part of what is helping to move you forward. Take it around the other direction. And then let that left foot relax. Take a full breath in, exhale it out, and then slowly move the whole left thigh side to side, feeling into this left side, noticing any similarities or differences from that first side. Another thing second chakra reminds us of is where we tend to go to the extremes in life, overindulgence to deprivation, all or nothing, black and white thinking. And the idea is to find more moderation, the middle area, the gray area. Next time that left thigh hugs in, take a full breath here and let it go. Inhale, reach and lengthen through both arms, both legs. And then exhale, bring the arms by your sides. And let's just bring the two sides together here with Supta Baddha Konasana. Soles of the feet touch. Make that diamond shape with your legs. And then feeling a little deeper into the hips, pelvic, lower back area as you inhale, Reach your arms overhead, arching that low back slightly. Exhale, engage your core as you empty that breath. Arms come by your sides. So we're not forcing anything to happen, but feel those hip bones rocking forward and back as you gently arch into that lumbar curve and then press that spine towards the earth. And just noticing what's happening in the hips here. Let's take it one more time. And with that last one, as you exhale, arms come down, squeeze those knees together, and then bring them into the chest. And rock it out side to side. And then come back to center. Let's place a hand on each kneecap and bring those two parts together as you press the knees out, open them wide apart, and slowly bring the legs together. Take that around one more time, feeling into the inner and outer thighs here as we go into a little deeper stretch. And then take it around the opposite direction with the circle. And the next time those knees hug in, let's pause. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, option to stay right here or with that next breath, lifting the head and chest in towards the knees, getting a deeper stretch to the upper back now. And then release your head. Plant your left foot to the earth. Let's come into reclined pigeon, getting a deeper stretch to the outer hips here before we come on up. Right ankle to left thigh. You can press that right hand into the right leg, pausing here. If this is where your tightness is, then just stay here, maybe for the duration of the pose. Otherwise, we can take that sensation now to the outer hip and glute by bringing the left thigh in. If it's really intense, just keep those arms relaxed, let the legs do the work. If you're adding those arms, see if you can keep the shoulders soft, grounded, elbows bent. So feel the effort coming from your bicep muscles rather than your neck and shoulders. See if you can adjust to release some of that tension. And then, of course, if you're moving here, and lengthen those arms on the inhale. Exhale, we hug it in. And if you are doing this, see if you keep your shoulders grounded. So you're really just bending and extending from your elbows. Some of these little fine-tuning micro alignments can make a big difference, especially if you tend to carry a lot of tension in that upper back shoulder area anyway. So see if we can use the right muscles to get to the right places. And then next time you bring that left thigh in, let's pause. Deep breath in. Exhale with a sigh. And then if it feels good for you, take that little rocking motion side to side. And then untangle those arms and legs, left foot to the earth, arms out to your side so you can just let those shoulders soften. Extend your right leg to the sky, out at an angle so you can keep that whole back side of the right hip on the ground. Point the toes. Flex the foot, and then lower that right leg all the way down to the earth. And once it touches down, just shake it out. And let's repeat that, taking it on side two, right foot to the earth, left ankle to right thigh. Press that left thigh away. Pause here for a moment. And then decide, stay or proceed to that next step. And of course, if we're taking the next step, bring the right thigh in. And keeping that flow of breath going, right? Rather than resisting, trying to hold the breath or force. And then maybe just rocking that right thigh forward and back, if that's helpful. And then just take a moment to pause, maybe considering your own life where something might feel stuck, stagnant. Right? And we have to remember, if we're not growing, we're dying, right? So there's the opposites. And so we can start to say, I say this a lot in our second chakra awareness, but if we can start to equate change with growth, maybe it would be less daunting. Maybe we'd be more inviting and accepting of the changes that come, expected or unexpected. And then next time you bring that right thigh in, let's pause. If you're still rocking forward and back, deep breath here. Exhale, let it go with a sigh. And if it feels good, take that little rocking side to side as we prepare to release. And then as you're ready, untangle those arms and legs, right foot down, arms stretched out to your sides. Extend that left leg towards the sky at an angle, point the toes, flex the foot, and then lower all the way down and shake it out. And then bend both knees. Let's prepare to come up, bring those knees into the chest and rock side to side, tuning into the whole back body here. And then your choice to roll to one side to come on up, or if it feels good for your spine, you could take a little spinal rock to make that transition. And let's come onto all fours into a tabletop position. And as you line up your hands and knees, spread those fingers wide. You can certainly elevate those hands on blocks. But let's take a few rounds of really feeling the fluidity of your spine, marveling at how movable, how flexible it is. And so as you inhale, let's let that belly draw down, shoulders back. Exhale, round. So just as you're going with that wave of breath, right, relaxing, expanding into that inhale as we arch the back. Exhale, release, let it go as you round the spine. And just thinking of the breath itself like a wave, the ebb and flow, the coming in, the letting out. And yet we don't think anything of it. It just happens, right? But what if we could live as fluidly as we breathe? What would that look like? Just to trust whatever comes. So I know I've been talking about a book club for a while and I do apologize, but I've been trying to get clear. There's 2 books rattling in my mind. Many of you have probably read The Surrender Experiment. That's on my list here. And a big part of that is really saying yes to whatever shows up, even if you don't understand it, even if you don't like it, especially if you don't like it, because it's there to teach you something. And that is the yogic path, is to really accept whatever comes as a guest, as an invitation, as a lesson, as an opportunity for growth. Now let's take one more here. We're doing a few more than we normally do. Inhale. And then as you exhale on that next one, either press it back to downward dog, create some fluidity here by opening those hands and feet a little wider. And maybe even shift side to side here as you pedal out those legs. But just create as much movement as feels comfortable in your downward dog. Start to break up some of those places that might feel like ice, right? That feel frozen or stuck. Nod the head, soften your jaw. And just imagine the whole body is water, right? Moving fluidly, gracefully. And then from here, we're going to slowly come back down onto the knees. So bring those knees a little wider if you can. You might want to grab a little padding for the knees if there's any knee issues going on. Stretch those arms out in front of you towards the upper corners of your mat. And we're just going to make a big circle here, getting the outer hips. So shift your hips about halfway forward so you're not going to that lower back. And then move those hips to the right. Take it around in puppy pose. Those arms stay extended out in front of you. And take that big circle all the way around. So you're making a big circle with those hips. Knees need to be nice and wide so you can really feel into those outer hips, right, where we just touched upon in our reclined pigeon pose a moment earlier. And then take it around the other direction. But keep that core engaged, so at no time should you feel this pushing into your lower back. All right, like a little circular puppy pose here. And then next time we come forward, let's again press it back. Downward dog, or you can certainly come into child's pose. Let's take another moment here to walk it out, stretch it out. And then bring those knees back to the earth. And let's take one more stretch here before we come on up to our sun salutation. So again, feet and hands, or hands and knees rather, hip width apart. Stretch your left leg back as you press into that heel. And then float your left leg up, cross it behind your right, and then look over your right shoulder as you press that left foot into the earth. So you're really reaching through the heel, foot is on the ground, arms are straight. And as you look over your right shoulder, you're creating a little C-curve stretch for the spine. And then breathe into wherever you're feeling this in that left hip, waist, lower back, right in that second chakra area. And then inhale, bring the head to center, uncross. Left toes to the earth, and then come into high plank. Lift the head and pause. You can actively press those heels back. That core is drawn in, head and neck are in a line, the whole spine. And then from here, just slowly lower your left knee down. Press into that right heel, get a little calf stretch here. Float your right leg up, cross it behind your left. Press that right foot into the earth. Reach the heel away as you look over your left shoulder now. And breathe, feeling this right at that right waist area, right lower back. And then head to center. Let's uncross. Toes to the earth and return to your high plank. Deep breath in. Long breath out. And then if you'd like to go through the vinyasa, you're welcome to. You can take a modified variation of chaturanga, the full expression. You can always just press it back to downward dog and or child's pose. And coming back to your breath, inhaling deeply, exhale completely. And the next breath or two, we're going to make our way towards the top of the mat. So whether you're in child's pose or downward dog, let's prepare to move forward. Look up, step forward, and release into your forward fold. Bend those knees, maybe widen those feet a little bit more. Let the upper body completely go here. Shoulders release, head and neck soften. Let's take a moment to return to your focal point for the practice. Here, bend those knees, hands to thighs. Let's come all the way up. Roll those shoulders back and down. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, hands to the left. So before we move through our sun salutation, let's just take a side stretch here. Reach those arms up. Getting into that side waist again. Lean to the right, so the right hand can come to the thigh or the hip. But see if you can keep that left shoulder back so we're not twisting or turning. And then inhale, bring it to center. Other side. Hip shift right, lengthen to the left. Feeling into that side body here. And then back to center. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold, let it go with the sigh if that feels good. Lengthening into Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, fold, press it back, step back rather to high lunge, low lunge, or mid lunge. I said those in reverse order. So go with whatever you're wanting to work with this morning. If you want to stay in the hip opening opportunity, you can keep those arms, hands down. I'm lost for words this morning. Or you can come into high lunge, building a little bit more heat. And then wherever you are, pause, feeling into those mighty hip flexors here that allow you to move forward. To step out of comfort zones, to seize the growth opportunities. And on your next exhale, if you lifted those hands, bring them back down. And then make a choice. Step it back. Pause in plank. Move through your flow. Reach it back, downward dog or child's pose. So basing that choice on what you're choosing to do next on how you feel. So if you're running short of breath, your mind is scattered, you might be best served by pausing, resetting, right? If we're focused and present, maybe we stay in the motion. So let's take that to the other side, either getting there from downward dog or all fours as you step your right foot forward. And then just try to match what you did on that first side if it's available, low, mid, or high lunge. And then steady the focus of your mind as you stay present with the fluid breath. Your strong, stable, balanced body. And if you've lifted those arms on your next exhale, bring them back down. And then step it back, make a choice. Breathing in, let it go with a sigh. And then when you feel complete, take it back to downward dog or child's pose for a moment before we make our way up into our standing sequence. And so in that next breath or two, make that transition towards the top of your mat, looking up, step forward, and release. Bend those knees, pass through chair, long spine as we come all the way up to stand. And hands return to the heart. Now stepping that right leg back, we're going to come into warrior two. So feeling into the hip opening opportunity here. Those right toes pointing towards the long end of your mat, left toes pointing towards the short end of your mat. And then before we come into the full expression, straighten that left leg. Rock your hips slightly side to side here. I'm just feeling into any tightness that might be showing up. Now keep the hips level, so we have a nice long torso perpendicular to the earth. And then as you do this, press into that right foot as you now bend the left knee, but don't let those hip bones move. Lengthen your left leg. and then bend. So really feel the power of this right glute pressing all the way through that right foot the entire time. Think of this as your anchor, and supporting this movement of that left side. Now, next time you bend that left knee, pause. Draw that tailbone slightly under so you feel both glutes engaged. And then open those arms out, keeping shoulders relaxed. Palms can be face up, but we're not tilting forward, nor are we leaning back. So you can maintain a nice level pelvis and tall spine. Now from here, inhale, straighten that front leg, arms reach up. Exhale, we bend. Again, hips don't tilt. Inhale, we lengthen. Exhale, we bend. Spine stays in Tadasana the whole time. We're neither leaning side to side, forward or back, staying centered in that movement. Last one. Exhale, settle in. Maybe go just past your comfort zone here. Maybe we move that left foot out a little further. Maybe those hips come down a little lower, but we're not tilting. If we've done that, bring it back so we can get something good out of it. And then as you're ready, keep that lower body still. Lengthen to the right with your upper body. Peaceful warrior. And then lengthen to the left. Strong root chakra foundation of that lower body. Come back to the right. And back to the left. Keep that breath flowing. And then as we come back to center, straighten that left leg. And we're going to move toward triangle. Now we're letting those hips move for this one. Rock those hips to the right, leading the spine left, and then come back to center. And again, imagine your shoulders are up against that wall so you're not tempted to twist or round that right shoulder forward. Next one, we'll pause. So you can stay right here. If you feel pressure in this left knee, give it a little micro bend so you're not locking it out. And you can certainly lengthen those arms. This is a good one to practice against a wall. So you can feel into that alignment and how the alignment makes a difference when we get into those parts of the body we're needing to stretch, rather than staying locked into a comfortable pattern. So let's come all the way back up now. Warrior two. Deep breath in. Exhale it out. Hands to hips, straighten your left leg. Turn that left foot in now. We're going to pause here through center, both feet parallel. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, fold. Your choice to bend those knees. Maybe we stay halfway, or of course we can go all the way down. If you feel an overstretching in that lower back, please bend those knees. And then let the upper body go here, turning the head, release those shoulders, soften your face. And redirect your mind toward your intention. And then before we come on to that other side, we'll just take a little stretch here. So lift your head. If you have a block nearby, you can place your hands on that block. Otherwise, just come onto your fingertips out in front of you. Turn your heels in and your toes out. So feet might be a little wider. And then we're just going to bend the left knee. As we shift left, you can get deeper stretch that right side. Go a little wider with those feet if you need to. Come back to center. And then lean to the right as you bend that right knee. So the knee should still be on the ankle. That might mean we need a little wider stance. And if you want to lift up those hands onto a block, that can be helpful as well. Let's take it one more each side. And then as you return to center, let's turn those toes back so they're straight ahead, feet are parallel. Fold one more time here, let that upper body go. And then as we come on up, bend those knees, hands to thighs, and we come all the way back to stand. Shoulders back, head stacks on top. And we'll take it right on over to that other side. So just turn the right toes out now. Left toes should be right where they need to be. And then just like that first side, it's really tempting to drop that right hip. So keep it level, right? But feel into that shifting side to side. We can get it out of our system so we don't take it into the alignment of the pose. And then leveling off. Notice when it's level, that left glute will engage. It won't engage if we do this. So feel the difference there. We want those gluteal muscles to stabilize, support the hips and lower back. Now from here, keep this stable and just move that right leg, bending and straightening. Now, in order for this to stay stable again, you're gonna have to feel these left glutes, give them a good squeeze and press that energy all the way through the left foot. Actually makes it easier if we use the right muscles. And now next time you bend that right knee, maybe go a little wider with your stance, draw the tailbone under, both glutes engaged here to help you hold. Arms open out as we pause. Breathe in, breathe out. Now keep that lower body still as you inhale to the left, peaceful warrior. I know it's tempting to straighten that right leg, maybe bend the knee a little deeper. Come back to center and then lean to the right. So if we've done our work of the root chakra, we're stable, grounded, we know where the nest is, we know where home base is, then change shouldn't be so overwhelming, right? Because we're grounded, we have a strong foundation. So feel that in this pose. Now, next time we come back to center, pause. Hands to hips. Now straighten that right leg. Now we're going to let those hips move, leading the spine as we rock side to side, preparing for Trikonasana, triangle pose. Now, next time those hips shift left, lengthen your torso to the right. Imagine you're up against a wall. And then maybe extend those arms and breathe. So if you envision a triangle in your mind, it has no rounded corners or edges. So we're really mimicking that with our body. So if we're rounding through the spine, we've lost the triangle. So see if you can find that length there for the side body strengthening. And then from here, bend that right knee, come all the way back, warrior two. Breathe in, breathe out, hands to hips, straighten your right leg. And then one more time, let's turn that foot in so feet are parallel. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale with the side. Again, your option, pause halfway or all the way. And then from here, you might just have those hands in the middle. Maybe you lengthen those arms out in front of you and pull the hips back for like an extended wide-legged downward dog. Or maybe you want to walk those hands through, deepening that stretch of the back body. But making that choice based on what you're needing, based on how you're feeling. And we'll come into another breath here before we rise up. So pressing those hands out in front of you. You can bring those feet in a little closer to come on up if you like. Bend those knees, hands to thighs. Let's come all the way up. Shoulders shrug up, release back and down. And then turn your head to the right. Turn your head to the left. And back to center. Let's step those feet back together and walk them out. Come on up to the top of your mat. And we'll rinse all that out with the sun breath. Hands to the heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale with a sigh, lengthen and fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Plant the hands, step it back, and make a choice. Plank. Move through your flow. Or press it back, downward dog and or child's pose. And then take a moment in your pause or your movement to realign your mind with your intention. And perhaps coming back to that powerful prayer that I offered earlier, which can really be applied to any challenges, difficulties that we face in life. And that's been my go-to for many years when my human self can't make sense of what's happening on a bigger scale. So natural disasters, loss, tragedy, all those things that cause humans to suffer. And so again, coming back, I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And that speaks to the collective unconscious of which we're all a part of.